Hey, everybody, welcome to the show today. I'm happy to have with me Mr. Patrick O'Leary. He's a vice president over at PMG 360. Pat's been in the media business and the marketing business for well over 20 years. He's established himself as a thought leader in the space, and we're pretty lucky to have him here today. Pat, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, Ara. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while, and yeah, let's go. Let it rip. What do you got for me today?
Dive right in, right? So we've been getting a lot of questions and things, and it seems like companies are often saying that we need more leads, right? From your experience, i- is that really the problem, or what's really holding their sales back?
Well, when people say we need more leads, what I have found is that when sales reps are given leads, it really depends on where in the funnel or where in the cycle they're actually contacting these leads. Far too often, I find that sales reps are given leads that haven't been nurtured long enough. It takes multiple touches.
Mhm.
The days of the cold call per se, they're not needed anymore. We have enough data. We have our ideal customer profiles. We know, the audience that we're trying to reach.
Sure.
You just have to put some work in. And you should want to put that work in, prior to handing those leads off to the salespeople.
Got it. Um, so as PMG's built one of the largest databases in the industry at this point. How would companies actually be using their data to create more conversions? How are we going from data to conversion, I guess is the short answer. But how can they be using that data to convert more of those
I
conversations?
mean, again, I can speak for our own company and what we do for our clients. I mean, we have 58 million records.
Yeah.
And, as part of the consultative sales process, when we actually sit down with the clients and, do our discovery, do our due diligence, we identify the the ideal customer profile. And then, that leads to actually not only questions about who they're trying to reach, but what efforts are being taken to contact that lead. We just earlier spoke, right? We spoke about nurturing, and then also, CRM systems. A lot of times those don't get talked about enough. Do you first of all, do you
Automating the
have one?
process.
You better have one.
Yeah, yeah. Let's start there,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I go back, and I don't want to date myself here, but I go back to the days of where, like, they literally would give me a book and they would say, all right, go through this book. It was a book of municipal finance. And they're like, okay, these are the
Yeah.
people you need to reach. You can't do that nowadays. Not only can't you do that, you shouldn't have to do that. I mean, we use HubSpot, and I got to say, from the initial time that we received the lead through in HubSpot, we can see all the efforts, all the sales and marketing efforts that
Yeah.
were
The
taken prior
detail.
to, and then where, we have as salespeople, we have a better idea of where this particular lead is in the funnel. And then we can,
I
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I always look at the use of a CRM as like one doing the work of many more people, right? Like you can duplicate and you do far better with it. It's a numbers game, and you're able to do more work better and more efficiently, which hopefully at the end of the day leads to a bigger bottom line for anybody that's in
Ara, it
sales.
goes back to smarter, not harder.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we talk about that a lot. So, you've been in sales and in publishing, for a long time. We won't say how long, but long enough to consider yourself an industry leader. What are some of the outdated sales beliefs that don't really apply today, and you're better off just putting them on the shelf?
I mean, the one that I've seen over the years is that sales and marketing are two separate entities. Within a company, your sales and marketing teams need to be
Yeah.
in lockstep with each other. You know,
Sure.
even
Sure.
during sales calls, if I'm on a sales call with somebody, with a prospect or a client, it's good to have both representation from the marketing team and also the sales team on that call.
Right.
Again, there's going to be
Yeah.
a couple of, I mean, my answers have basically, there have been some reoccurring themes in my answers. And
Mhm.
I mean, that's just because this is the way that I've found over the last few years that, things have really become, it's an integrated approach.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you're the
sales,
boots on
it's
the ground. You
marketing,
see
it's
what's going on out
operations, it's
there.
billing.
Yeah.
You have to factor
Yeah.
in a lot of these things now when you're making sales. How do
I
they
got
bill? What's their terms? Do they accept credit cards? Is there ACH? You have to, a good idea to kind of move yourself through the sales process is to understand as much about an organization, not only from a product standpoint, but from how they operate internally, that standpoint as well.
you. Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, sales cycles in B2B, they're getting longer. It depends on what you sell, of course, but generally B2B sales take longer. What's the best way to speed up decision making and ultimately close deals faster? Is that kind of what you were referring to, like getting to know the whole company or the whole entity and who's involved in
Right,
that process?
right. What we have found over the years now is there's a buying committee, and you need to be able to
Yeah.
identify the buying committee. There's a need
Yeah.
for to have your marketing represented. There's a need to have your sales department represented. Again, we just talked about billing, operations.
Kind of understanding their needs as a whole and then coming up with a solution to
Yeah,
provide them
understanding the
or
way
a
their company
strategy that
works.
they implement.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay. It's okay to have as many, or it's better to have those voices on, on the call, so that way you can work through things
yeah.
as they are,
That might
right,
be a
through the
blocker down
conversation
the road.
itself, rather than wondering, okay, I haven't heard from anybody in a while. What happened to,
Yeah, what's
right,
going on?
what's
Sure,
going
sure.
on?
So, what separates companies that consistently hit their revenue targets from those that don't? Like, aside from just having good leads, like, what are they doing different?
Customer retention, customer loyalty, and
Building that, I guess.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, and again, that goes back to understanding your client's initial needs, understanding
yeah.
all of their processes, forming a relationship, and it can be a personal relationship. Like, we're people. People buy from people at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
and if you're talking to someone long enough for over a number of months or years or what have you, of course, I mean, you're going to kind of delve into those other subjects. I can
And
imagine
then
that.
understanding and being able to grow with your client, because their needs are
Sure,
going to
there's
change. If everything's going the way that you guys have planned it out, there's going to be growth, and with growth
yeah,
comes change. And it's being able to walk with the client through that change, and understanding from the beginning, from where they were to where they want to be.
yeah, and their success is our success at the end of the day, right? We're able to guide them in a way that they could grow. We grow with them. We help them grow along the way. Yeah,
Make
it's
them look
it's
like a
it's a
rock
nice thing.
star. That's the
Absolutely,
best thing that you can do for your client. Make
absolutely.
them look like a rock star
And,
within their company. Yep.
yeah, and you do that pretty well, my
Thank
friend.
you.
So marketing teams generate leads, right? But sales teams often say they're not good enough. Like, who in that scenario, when you hear that, who's actually at fault? And how do you fix businesses that have that disconnect? Like when sales and marketing are just kind of not in line. You kind of alluded to some of that earlier. How would you kind of go about realigning them, if you
Right,
will?
right. The first thing I would do is we take that word fault out. There's no fault indicates, you're looking to place blame. It's, finger pointing. You know, the way it was kind of represented is it is a disconnect. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and again, that might be from that old adage that sales is one department and marketing is the other. You know,
yeah. That's changed
and
for
and
sure.
really a CRM system. I hate to say, well, I don't hate to say it. I'm happy to share that a CRM system can actually bring sales and marketing closer together. And
Yeah,
like even with our own team, we can judge to see what's working, just from the reporting standpoint, what efforts are working, what's not working. Different
Right.
people consume content, different people consume messages in different ways.
Yeah.
Some respond to video, some respond to content in short form, maybe 800 words. Your marketing pieces, yeah,
Blogs. Yeah.
800 words. Some people still like to
Yeah.
read long form,
Sure. The big white
right,
paper case
4,000
study.
words.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really, it's understanding your audience, and then from within your audience, it's understanding the way in which they consume content, and then
Yeah.
being
Kind of how to
and then
speak to
being
them.
able
Yeah.
to deliver the same content but in different disciplines. That's what I found
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and for sure, the CRM definitely helps you see how the content is being consumed and also measure your ROI on certain campaigns and programs that you're putting forth, which always helps, you know,
Yeah,
knowing what to do and managing your resources.
yeah, long gone are the days of, what did they used to call it?
Spray
Yeah,
and pray.
yeah. It, yeah.
You're dating yourself with that
Well,
one there,
you
my
said
friend.
it, not me. So I'm glad that you said it.
All right. If a company's struggling to book meetings, right, with key decision makers, what's the first thing they should change in their approach?
Well, it's
You've come
understanding
across this,
how they traditionally book meetings. Are they doing are they generally a face-to-face type meeting? Are they, phone calls? It's understanding, um, because let's face it, over the last 5 years, the way meetings are conducted has changed a lot as
oh
well.
yeah,
A lot of people work
dramatically,
remotely,
sure.
so instead of meeting them, say, at their office, you have to be willing to find out where they are and meet them in their hometown. Maybe there's a local restaurant in the hometown that they can, step out for
Yeah,
half hour, 45 minutes, meet for coffee. It's being flexible to, again, meet your client, meet your prospect where they're most comfortable. Make it
yeah, where
easy
they are.
for them. It's not your meeting, it's our meeting. And as a sales rep, I'm comfortable whether you want to talk something like this, if you want to meet face to face,
Yeah,
if we have to do it, phone, email exchange. But again, I generally at least like to put a face to a name. Again, going back
yeah,
to, people buy from people. And, there is something to be said still about personal connections,
I
having
agree with
personal
that.
relationships. That's why I still love trade
Sure.
shows, getting out.
Well, trade shows are a great place to meet new people and start on your path to new relationships too. I've had that scenario quite a few times where I've gone to an event, met someone or met a group of people, and to this day, actually, I continue to conversate with them via email, chat, or sometimes even
Sure.
phone. So, yeah, building that relationship and kind of helps you get to the next level. Um, so I guess the talk of the town these days is AI, right? With AI and automation taking over, what role does the human element still play in B2B sales? That kind of ties back to what we were just discussing, but how can you kind of implement AI and automation and what role can that play in getting these human meetings?
I think AI plays a very prominent role when dealing with data, helping to really identify, again, we talked about it, the ideal customer profile, the way people consume data, whether it be in video, long form, short form.
Hmm.
It's not, or at least in any time in the near future, it's not going to replace the salesperson. I think that that's a misnomer, because, again, I'm still a firm believer in that people buy from people, but
Yeah,
it certainly does help understanding, and the way it can kind of dilute a lot of noise, and really help you focus in on what's important to your prospect or what's important to your client. I mean, and it just
hmm,
saves time. And for me, saving
yeah.
time allows me,
Time is
time is
money.
money, and allows me to do
Yeah,
more, whereas I may have been bogged down in some of the old minutia of sales. again, now AI coupled with the CRM system, understanding where your prospect is or understanding where your client is in their buying
Yeah.
cycle, really helps you, um, you know, eliminate a lot of the wasted downtime.
Yeah, and time is your most valuable asset. So if you can get AI to kind of do some of the more tedious tasks for you and automation to take care of those tasks, then you frees up time to kind of do other things that you really enjoy to do in life as well.
Absolutely. We
Mm.
and I'll just kind of give you my own spin on it. For a long time, there was the idea of the work-life balance.
Yeah,
Don't call me after 5 because I'm out. I'm out of the office. What I've seen over the last 10, 15 years is more of that work-life integration,
hundred
where I
percent.
can go to the beach on a Tuesday and still be able to work efficiently, through the different, like for me, a CRM system, having AI run some reports, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to be in an office. So it's that double-edged sword where I'm not in the office, but just because I'm not in the office, I still need to get my work done. And I can
Well, yeah,
with the same
you
efficiency
can
and with the same proficiency. But
probably better efficiency, right?
sometimes,
Because you're
yeah,
using the tools.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see that.
yeah.
And with with everything being available on your mobile, I guess that kind of even furthers your Tuesday beach
Now,
activities,
I'm not,
if you will.
that's not me, but I'm just saying.
Hey, good example, though. I like it. I like it. Let's say a company has a great product, right? But they're struggling to close deals. What's usually the issue?
it that's got to go back to education. You have not educated, or I feel that you've not educated the client enough about the product. You know, that could
Yes, and
well, that could
you
definitely
you
be
would
one of the big factors. Um, Going back to what we said earlier, you know, you may not be understanding of their own internal workings, and you could be hung up in another area. If on your invoice, if on your statement of work it says net 30 payment, and that comes across their CFO's desk, and they're like, well, you know, can we do a credit card or can we use ACH? Like,
yeah,
it's understanding all the different people within an organization
components.
that are going to affect that sale and being able to
So,
address
but
those issues ahead of time.
how? But if a company is selling a product, I think you kind of leaned into it a little bit a few minutes ago. Education, like perhaps the issue really is that you haven't educated that prospect through the buying cycle enough with what the product actually is, how it can help you, et cetera, et cetera. So providing content and information through email marketing or sequences or nurturing campaigns could probably help move that deal closer to the closed column, because you're using these tools like AI and
Oh,
integration,
absolutely.
automation to
Yeah, there's
educate them.
no
And by the time they're ready, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome. Let me talk to somebody
right,
or
right.
something."
There's
Right?
no one way. It's multi-touch now. And it's like you said, it's through custom content or having them read content about you, seeing a display ad, doing a targeted ad, finding prospects where on other websites where they're looking. You got to be where your
Yeah.
prospect is. You have to meet your prospect where they are. You know,
Right. And just getting them enough info to make it to have them be educated on your products, goods, or services to kind of take the next step, engage,
right,
and
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 then
hopefully buy.
and understand that if you give me 15 minutes, if you give me 20 minutes of your time, let's explore it together. I'm not saying it's going to do everything, but
Sure. Sure.
in order for me to figure out what you need, let's get that going back to that meeting. Let's get that meeting.
Yeah.
Let's
Get
have a
that
discovery
information.
call. Let's get the
Yeah.
salespeople in on it. Let's get the marketing people in on it. Does your CFO want to sit in on it?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that whole consultative approach to a sale.
Okay. So, uh, promise one more question, and I'll let you fly. If at this point, like if someone out there is listening to this conversation and they're stuck, what's the one sales move that they could take today that can help them get some results?
Well, first of all, don't quit. If you're stuck in the cycle, if you're stuck and you don't know why, then sometimes it's not you. It could be your client, it could be your prospect. Stay
Mm-hmm.
stay with them. And also, and I've talked to salespeople about this. Like, you don't always have to, your conversations don't always have to be sales related with people. If somebody
Of
if somebody
course.
understand, like, if you understand that you're just waiting on certain approvals or whatever, but you come across information, about something in the market, maybe even a competitor. If you come across information that might be pertinent to them, don't be afraid to reach out to your client or your prospect about something other than this particular sale. Again,
Sure.
because you want to show them that this is a partnership, this is a relationship. It's not just one-sided. I'm not just
Yeah, of
here to
course.
sell you something. I'm here to help you grow. I'm here, another set of eyes in the market to help you understand what's going on around, because there's a lot. There is a lot going on. There are a
Yeah.
lot of changes.
I'd even go as far as to say, and I know this is true, that you're investing in their success, right? The better you can make recommendations and create great strategies for them to employ, the better they do. That's in your best interest. So it is kind of like consultative and bringing your years of knowledge and doing this. I don't know for how many different companies along in your tenure to the next client that comes to you with a conversation or a question, be like, hey, let's sit down, let's have a talk, let me learn about your business, and here's what I think would work for you. Let's talk, like
Right.
let's make this happen, let's
Because at
help
the
you.
end of the day, Ara, it comes down to people.
That's 100% right. a
you know
hundred
and
percent
and it,
right
there
Yep.
is a shared success there. I'm a firm believer in it. I have clients for 20 years. I know where their kids graduate. Yeah, I remember when their kids were born. Some of the
Easy.
high school stories. Now they're and they're finishing up with college. So
Yeah.
it's, again, it's people buying from people and understanding how
Yeah.
their needs change and grow and being able to do it with them. And it's fun.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah,
at
it
the end of the
is.
day, people are still fun. I still enjoy the company of people. So,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Pat, thanks so much. I've learned a lot. I'm sure if anyone has any questions, they could reach out to you directly and all. But thanks again for your time, and I hope to have you back one of these days real
all right.
soon.
Thank you, Ara. Yeah, anytime. I'm here. You know
Appreciate
where
you,
to
buddy.
find me.
Take
All
care.
right, pal. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.